my kuleana now at this point in my life, as a bridge builder, as a liaison, as a one to help people reconcile things in their life. I think where we're at in the history of Hawaii, where we've come from, where we're at now, there's a common saying among Hawaiians, he moku he va'a, he va'a he moku. And the thought is, and always has and always will be, what we can convey to each other and to the next generations following us is that an island is a canoe and a canoe is an island. And how imperative, how important it is for everyone to be in sync with everyone who's co-laboring in the process. Whatever the movement, whatever the forward action. And so for us in Hawaii, I think we're unique in the way that the ohana aspect of how we raise the village, the children, the community, from keiki to makua to kupuna, with the resurgence or surge of Hawaiian culture and music and everything in between, hula, chant, mo'olelo, activities taking place on Mauna Kea. We are reminded, and in that place of being reminded and reaffirmation of realizing who we are at this point in time and the resources we have, and again conveying that to the young people. Unfortunately, in this digital world, I believe there's a disconnect. How the irony is that the digital allows us to access and just information can be exchanged and received, reciprocated. Millions and millions of files in such a short space of time. But when you go back to just ideas of functioning in like a hands-on, tactile, cognitive world, to be able to be quiet, to be able to sit on a beach, up in a kuahivi, alone, or with a select few, and be quiet and hear certain things that go on around us. Well, like either whether you're on a canoe in the middle of the ocean or in a quiet place in the night looking at the stars, there's things that are happening around us that really reach out to us in ways that we expect and sometimes don't expect. Different frequencies, spiritual stuff, emotional stuff, again, tactile stuff, and things that can be readily accessible. So I think the encouraging thing for our children, and many of us who practice our cultural practices, whatever it be, is to constantly remind ourselves why we were given the gifts, why we were blessed, to practice it, to sharpen it, to get with others who can mentor us, correct us. And for one thing is that we were only given the gift so that we can use it to better ourselves, better our families, better our children, and in the collaborative, collective scheme of things in our community, in our churches, in our sports group, community groups, youth groups, even in areas where there's been a response to some of that negative stuff with our kids being incarcerated, our fellow cousins and makua and even kupuna who are incarcerated, and even on the aspect or spectrum of special needs, there's so much reconnecting to be done on a daily basis, so much love, so much aloha yet to be given out there, and how we receive that, I think, from the source, from Akua. For me, it is the source. When we can sit back and flush through all the distraction, all the geopolitical, social, economical, I'll use the word bullshit. In that muck and mire, we can sometimes get confused and don't know how to function or how to respond. And I think for us, the starting point always is to just quiet yourself. Quiet yourself. Rest your heart, rest your mind, rest your soul, your thought process. And if you pray, pray. And you start to realize that in the craziness of things, when we engage, how can we grow or mature or even fool ourselves into thinking we can continue on without adversity? So that the thing meant to trip you up or to kind of really kick your ass, to me is an opportunity always to be not a stumbling stone, but a stepping stone for growth. So always the thing that confronts you, the mountain, the storm, the heva, the negative, really, how that really is in place to teach us, to empower us. Can it really be something that we can take and let it elevate us instead of eliminate us? You know, to define us, you know, in ways that we start to, in a new paradigm, think that the only way we can help ourselves and be of help or assistance to Malama or Aloha, our domestic situations in our families and in our community, is to be good ourselves, so we can receive the mana, we can receive the aloha, practice that, and only being ones who possess that thing, because we cannot give out what we do not possess, right? So from heaven, receiving aloha from the one who is aloha, akua. From the beginning, he spoke nothingness, formed and created this physical earth, and at some point said, what a good thing. Created the first man from the lepo. This is my mana'o. Enacted the first act of aloha from creating the first being in his image, now empowering the being with the ha, alo, presence of, facing towards divine breath. The Creator himself forming us in the beginning, empowering us in the beginning to function in the way that we receive from him the highest level of intelligence, of being, of Malama, placing the first man and woman in the garden. So unique in that in the beginning he said he didn't cause it to rain yet because no one to Malama. So he went to the dust of the ground, the lepo, and formed the first human being, how they would conduct themselves, how they would respond, and so on and so on. And so even in that situation, giving man the freedom of choice, that is, I think, I guess the term deal breaker comes to me, where in some sense he gives us that freedom of choice. And it's because those choices that we make based on our baggage, right? Our trauma, our history, our upbringing. But still yet how we can work through all of that and be beings of light, beings of aloha, accepting the kuleana to heal ourselves, accepting the kuleana to heal our families, and exponentially, again, like I mentioned, in our community, people who need our love, need our help, need our kako'o, need our hands to prepare them a meal, to deliver them a meal, to help support them. So in this movement of where we are, Lahui for Hawaii, not just Hawaiian, every race who makes up the beauty of the collective Lahui here in Hawaii, all the islands represented, When you accept that kuleana, that responsibility, you become Hawaiian. You become, I'll iterate that again, you become Hawaiian by embracing the spiritual aspect. You receive that, you practice it, and you give it out, because that's the intent. Not to hold it, not to hoard it, but to go heal the world.